The philosopher bell hooks wrote, "The function of art is to do more than tell it like it is. It's to imagine what is possible." Yet it seems there are still limits to what is possible for specific groups of people that are represented in cinema. In a report compiled by Dr. Martha M. Lausen for the study of women in television and film at San Diego State University, females only comprise 29% of protagonists in the top 100 films of 2016. If we are to imagine what is possible, then perhaps we should start with how we see women in film and television. So today I will discuss representation of women in cinema, the Bechdel-Wallace test, and some ways to identify misrepresentation in media. So first, let's understand what unequal representation means. A U.S. Census annual report of 2018 states that women make up over 50% of the population of the United States. There are more women in the United States than men. Now, in 2017, Dr. Lausen did another study that reported that female characters only represent about 30% of all speaking characters, including major and minor characters. So if women are over 50% of the population, then they are not accurately represented in cinema at this percentage. Writers' rooms are still predominantly male, and in films with only one woman, or at least one woman, director or writer, females only comprise 38% of major characters. So how can we actively see representation in real time? One way is to measure the representation of women in fiction, and one such test is called the Bechdel-Wallace test. So what is the Bechdel-Wallace test? Well, the Bechdel-Wallace test is named after cartoonist Alison Bechdel and her friend Liz Wallace. And the test examines if a film has the following requirements. It must A, have at least two women in it, B, these two women must talk to each other, and C, they must talk to each other about something other than a man. Now, there are other tests for representation and equality out there, and I highly encourage you to look at the media that you ingest through these lenses. So what movies have passed or failed the Bechdel-Wallace test? Well, some films that failed. The Star Wars original trilogy. It's only three female characters and not one talks to each other. 2, Gravity. Gravity fails. Sandra Bullock is on her own. Harry Potter, they've got a few of them that fail. Goblet of Fire, Deathly Hallows, because no women talk to each other at all in those films. The Avengers, also, no women talk to each other. So what about films that passed? Well, surprisingly, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 both passed the Bechdel-Wallace test. Aliens, Hidden Figures, all passed the Bechdel-Wallace test. So, okay, what does it matter if representation is equal in movies or TV? Alright, well, imagine your kids are watching a movie. In the movie is an average Joe who is learning how to fight because he must save the world. But who's teaching him? A woman is. A woman who's faster, smarter, and tougher than he is. And she's not even the lead character. Maybe not even getting billing. Women are often the ones that help the men be better in film. And Dr. Lausen had a study where women make up only 29% of all sole protagonists or heroes. And that movie your kids are watching? Ant-Man. It's owned by Disney. So what does this do to our worldview and to our kids' worldview? Well, the representation doesn't match the reality. If the world really is 50-50, then film should reflect that. And in 2019, a study by Common Sense Media titled Watching Gender, How Stereotypes in Movies and on TV Impact Kids' Development, noted that on television shows and in movies specifically targeting children, male characters outnumber female characters 2-to-1. Male characters are frequently on U.S. television shows way more, and boys are depicted as more knowledgeable, more aggressive, and less deferential than girls. Even superhero female cartoon characters get more emotional than male characters and are way more likely, actually, to get overexcited in a crisis. So if you are aware of these types of biases in our media and literary culture as well, it could help you to lead to a better understanding of how these affect worldviews and perspectives of not just ourselves, but our children as well. So wrapping up, we learned that misrepresentation happens before anything even hits the big screen, be it big or small. But there are ways that can help us identify misrepresentation, such as the Bechdel-Wallace test, and also how to start looking for these types of misrepresentations, not just in mature shows, but in ones for kids as well. Charles Darwin said, "Great is the power of steady misrepresentation." But the history of science shows that, fortunately, this power does not long endure. So if we are aware of the ways that inequality weaponizes media, we can do much better to educate ourselves towards progress despite its intentions. Thank you very much.